And so the stage is set. Dennis, how do you see this game going?
Well, Tay, this is a very interesting lineup because we have two of the probably one of the best doubles players in the world at the moment.
Double play.
And so away we go with Moon-soo, the left-hander for South Korea.
One low.
And the first mistake there by Eddy Hartono.
Service over. Love one.
Well, the Indonesians quickly regaining the point there.
Love one. Second server.
Well, trying hard to finish off the point, there was Eddy Hartono. And the service going back to the Korean pair. The first serving here for Joo Bong.
Well, the Indonesians certainly want to make sure that the Koreans do not get onto an early lead.
And one of the highlights of this game must surely be the smashing power of the Indonesian pair, although the Koreans are known to be good smashers themselves too.
Well, the crowd there shows the approval. Well, Indonesia will have the psychological edge because they're playing with a home crowd.
One, second server.
And both players standing still as that return came from Joo Bong. Second server, now Gunawan. Lovely drop shot. And that's the first points for Indonesia. Gunawan.
Well, the shuttlecock just landing on the line there as the South Koreans regain the service.
1-all, second server.
Well, there certainly is plenty of communication between the two sets of players.
Yes, at this level of competition, communication is very important. Well, there was nobody on that side of the court as the Indonesians regained back the service.
1-all, second server.
And there was an easy kill by Joo Bong at the net. Eddy Hartono. Well, after having played almost 5 minutes now, the score still only at 2 points 1. The Korean pair leading. This is Joo Bong.
Well, the Koreans putting up a stout defense, but to no avail as the Indonesians relentlessly ensure that it's second service right now.
Well played at the net by the tallest player on court, Gunawan. Well, it's good to see the two Koreans back as a pairing, Moon-soo and Joo Bong. They really were one of the top players in their heyday just a couple of years ago.
Well, the Koreans were very quick at the net there to pounce on a very short ball. The Koreans are having a very unusual combination in the sense that they have one player who's a left-handed player and another who's right-handed. Well, the Koreans edging ahead slightly there. Score now is 3-1.
There's Joo Bong, who will also be partnering Chung Myung-Hee in the final match of the evening in the mixed doubles final. And the heights of the two Koreans really telling there.
Yes, Joo Bong's smash was very, very powerful. Just no way that Gunawan could have got to that. Well, good communication by the Indonesian pair as they regain the service at 1-4.
Just for the record, the Indonesians and South Koreans just met a couple of days ago in the preliminary group match, with Indonesia coming on top 4-1. Things might be a little different now.
A very dramatic rally there. The Koreans enabling by virtue of your height to power the smash. They've managed to change the defensive style of play into an offensive one.
Well, you don't have to tell Joo Bong, obviously annoyed with himself for giving away that serving. It's back to Gunawan.
1-5, second server. Service 5-1.
Well, the Koreans are beginning to put a stamp on the game. They're edging ahead slowly. Extremely powerful smash there.
Well, perhaps the only way the Indonesians could get a point or two is by dropping those shuttles, and that one once again caught Joo Bong. Second server, here's Moon-soo.
Well, Susan, as you can see, the Koreans are adopting a very defensive posture, but which they've managed to convert into a very offensive returns.
Well, it's a good reading of the game that has certainly enabled them to do so. Moon-soo and Joo Bong, of course, being, perhaps you could call them veterans in the badminton circuit.
Yes, I also think because they're both right and left-handed players, and that means that they can effectively control fairly well. As you can see, they control the court in the center very well.
And there was a lucky break for Eddy Hartono. And if the Indonesians do not want the game to escape from the grasp, perhaps now's the time to catch up with a few points. Joo Bong there. Well, in the preliminary game just a couple of days ago, Joo Bong's partner was Lee Sang-bok, and then they were no match for Eddy and Gunawan. They lost 12-15, 8-15. But tonight a different proposition with the return of Moon-soo.
Well, it just reinforces the importance of being able to play with a regular doubles partner. Well, the Indonesians finally getting the second point.
It was a good return by Eddy Hartono. Well, actually, Eddy and Gunawan have had the benefit of playing 3 good matches within the last 5 days. And perhaps tonight they're not that sharp. Maybe it's taken its toll on them, the hard matches that they had over the last 5 days.
Yes, I think they've had a very good run lately, and it's just a question of whether they can change that tonight, because they're playing against probably Korea's #1 pairing at the moment. All the players here are very, very eager to do well, because the individual World Championships will begin next week.
And so perhaps next Sunday we might be seeing the same 4 players on court.
Yes, I think so.
And that earned the cheers of the crowd here at the Senayan Stadium. And Kim Moon-soo then doing what the Indonesians have been doing to them quite a couple of times already, trying a soft drop, not succeeding.
5-9, second serve.
So things are beginning to brighten up a little now for the Indonesians, coming to within 4 points with the second server now from Gunawan.
Third server. 9-5.
Well, Park Joo Bong there serving as he's regained the service. And he will certainly be wanting to extend that lead.
5, second serve. Third serve. 5-9, level.
Well, the important fact is that the Asian teams have done well in the championships because of the acclimatization. They managed to get themselves used to the weather, and certainly throughout this competition, the European teams have not fared very well.
9, second serve.
So the Indonesians will certainly be looking forward to sweep all the titles tonight.
Fourth serve. 9-5. Second serve.
It's Kim Moon-soo serving at 9-5.
Second serve.
So the Korean pair 5 points away from clinching this first game.
Second serve.
Well, an unforced error there by Gunawan is certainly going to be in Korea's favor.
Some stout defending then by the Koreans, but eventually not quite paying dividends. And there you can see the backhand return by Kim Moon-soo, and then Joo Bong trying to switch the shuttle another way, and Moon-soo trying to do likewise, but just clipping into the net. The atmosphere in the stadium not quite what we can expect, or we are used to expect from the Indonesians. The stadium itself is not quite full.
Well, I think because the crowd will certainly be looking forward to the other matches later.
Well, perhaps we will see them streaming in the later part of the evening.
Well, as you can see, the perspiration on all the players' shirts, the conditions here must be extremely difficult to play because it's very warm.
6-11, second serve.
And those long shuttles sent by the two Indonesians are proving to be of no trouble whatsoever for the Korean pair. Each one coming down with some deadly smashing. Joo Bong.
Well, Eddy Hartono will certainly be trying to conserve some of his energy because he'll be playing the mixed doubles later on.
And that goes the same too for Pak Joo Bong. They'll be facing each other again with their women partners in the final match of the evening, the mixed doubles, as Eddy Hartono now takes back the serve. Another drop shot paying off then for the Indonesians.
Yes, I think the Indonesians find that they're getting more success with the short ball at the feet of the South Koreans. Because the South Koreans, I think, get their shots in when the Indonesians are hitting hard smashes at them.
Well, we wonder if it's too late to salvage this first game now, although the Indonesian pair not very far behind, just 3 points away, 9-12. And Eddy Hartono not doing his team any good.
Because I think he was overdoing it there.
12-9, Kim Moon-soo. And just as he overdid it, now he underdid it. Not much power then in his return, 13-9. And both Korean players going for the same shuttle and eventually having to lose out, but still holding second service.
Well, it seems that Eddy Hartono is, I think, the more steady of the Indonesian pairing, because he's been forcing the pace of the play. Well, the Indonesians trying very hard to extend the 9 points that they already have.
Well, the longest rally of the first game going the Koreans' way. Just when we thought the Indonesians had something up their sleeve. And there we see the point then. Pak Joo Bong right into the backhand of Eddy Hartono, and he was not able to return it.
Because I think both pairings are trying to test each other and try and force the pace of the game to try and see whether they respectively will commit the unforced error. But it was a very clear shot there.
And Kim Moon-soo, knowing the victory for the first game, quite within the grasp now. But in a haste, he sent a shuttle into the nets, but he still holds second service.
Well, the Koreans certainly playing a very economical game there, taunting the Indonesians to come up with a winner with a smash, and it was a poorly executed one there by Eddy Gunawan.
Well, in fact, we see quite a wide variety of strokes being used in that last rally, and Kim Moon-soo now urged on by his partner to wrap up this first game at 14-9. A nice long rally, and in the end the Indonesians persevered and they were well rewarded. Both sides testing each other and under-hitting it, and the two Koreans could only look at each other. So there may be still hope for the Indonesians to salvage something from this first game at 9-14.
Well, we've been treated to championship doubles at its best because we see variety of game strokes, the power game, the delicate touches.
Second server now, Eddy Hartono. And the Indonesians wasting a chance of trying to claw back. And now to wrap up the game perhaps, Kim Moon-soo. And there was no way that the Koreans could get to that shuttle. Reading his game absolutely well. Eddy Hartono just placing it delicately over the net. And Joo Bong now will attempt to clinch the first game. And that wraps it up. 15-9. going the Koreans' way, and I'm very sure now that they will attempt to wrap up the second game as quickly as possible. They are not want to stay on court far longer than is necessary due to the humidity on court.
Yes, it's been a very, very exciting match because up to now, the first set has taken just about 40 minutes. Well, this will certainly shake the Chinese confidence in securing next week's individual championships, because as we remember in 1987, they've made a complete sweep of it when the championships was held in Beijing. Well,
it's always good to see some newcomers clinch some titles, not the same old faces.
Yes, we're gonna see more exciting badminton over the next few days.
So the four players with fresh shirts back on court for the second game. The Indonesian pairing lost the first 9-15, and now they're facing camera.
Well, the shuttle landing very delicately in the corner there. Well, perhaps with the change of fresh shirts, the Indonesians will have fresh ideas on how to tackle the formidable Korean pairing.
Certainly going about the right way, the Indonesians. Eddy Hartono clinching the second points.
Second server. Three, low, second server.
Well, Park Joo Bong overhitting it, and it gives the Indonesians the third point in the second set.
Four, low, second server.
An encouraging start for the Indonesians. Gunawan.
Well, the local crowd here rooting for the Indonesians to extend the lead.
And those 6 points have come quick and fast.
Service over. Low, 6.
And a misjudgment then by Eddy Hartono, and perhaps now the Koreans will try to stem the tide.
Yes, Eddy Gunawan was hovering at the net there and he easily put the shuttle away.
And that's just called out. So the first point then for the Koreans. Joo Bong.
A little unlucky, it hit the net cord. Well, a very interesting feature of this championships is in this particular game we have a lot of movement of the players. At this level, the players are moving all over the court.
It really is amazing, especially the Korean pair. They're covering each other absolutely well. But not at the moment, as the Indonesians have a commanding 7-1 lead.
Well, that's the second time that we've seen the Koreans have a error of judgment when the shuttle was played in between them, and this is certainly the probably the weak point, because as you see, one of them is left-handed and the other one's right-handed, and when the shuttle is placed right in the middle, both players will be, for them it will be their respective backhands, and they'll be trying to retrieve the shuttle. And I think the Indonesians will capitalize on that.
And they're certainly doing well at the moment.
8-1, second server.
Fault called against Hartono, and Gunawan for the second serve at 8-1.
Service over. 1-8. Second server.
So Park Joo Bong shaking his head in disbelief.
2-8, second server.
The Koreans must be wondering how they can narrow the 6-point deficit.
3-8, second server. Gunawan. Gunawan. Enough.
Gunawan not quite happy then, and the umpire asking him to continue with the play. And as if to prove a point, Gunawan really hammered the shuttle down then. No answer to that from the Korean pair.
8-3, second server. Service over. 3-8.
Gunawan just lifting the shuttle out of court, and Park Joo Bong back with the service.
Well, the Indonesians having to work extremely hard to win that point there, because the Koreans are literally asking the Indonesians to continue smashing at them.
Point by point, the Koreans are crawling back. 4-8, Moon-soo.
Service over. 8-4.
A quick exchange, and the service going back to Eddy Hartono. 8-4.
There's Eddy Hartono clenching his fist there.
4,
as he hovered over the net and pounced upon that very short South Korean return.
Second server.
Bit of misguided judgment then on the part of Joo Bong, lifting the shuttle way out, and it's 10-4 now. Commanding lead for the Indonesians, and they make that one count again. 11-4. The Koreans must be wondering what is going wrong for them after playing so well in the first game, or not, although not without a fight from the Indonesians.
Service over. 4-11.
Oh, a very dramatic smash there by Eddy Gunawan. He's just broke a string on that, as both players from both countries gone out to have a little drink.
And then we see that beautiful smash by Gunawan.
5-11, second server. Service over. 11-5.
Something which they could ill afford at this stage, a service fault called against the Koreans. They want to clinch this game as quickly as possible. And both Korean players must have got a racket to that shuttle and fought called against them, and that could well prove to be a very important point for the Indonesians.
Yeah, psychologically the Indonesians are on a roll, and the quality in which their game has improved as the points have accumulated. We'll most certainly see a rubber set.
Service over. 5-12.
The Koreans not giving in without a fight. Joo Bong, 5-12.
5-12, second server.
Myung-Soo there was out of position and he couldn't retrieve the shuttle.
Service over. 12-5.
The crowd really behind the home players now as they come to the home straight, looking for the
Second server.
next 3 points. They clinch the second game and force it into a rubber. Another change of racket for Gunawan, the hard smasher that he is.
Well, I think the players have to change their rackets fairly frequently because the humidity in the stadium is extremely high, and that certainly affects the tension.
Service over. 5-12. Six, 12. Second server, leg break.
Well, there have been numerous occasions when the Koreans have got in each other's way, and perhaps there was one instance again, and we see a smash by Gunawan and then one from Hartono, and both Koreans attempting to reach the shuttle but was flicked wide by Moon-soo.
Service over. 12-6. Second server.
Well, the Koreans hanging on there. The Indonesians have not won a point for a few minutes.
Over. 6-12.
Scoreline seems to have stagnated here, seesawing from 12-6 to 6-12, and now Moon-soo.
7-12.
The Koreans certainly can't be written off as yet, just 5 points behind.
Second server.
Eddy Hartono lurking at the net and smashing down for the second server now to Korea, Joo Bong.
Service over. Seven.
Quite a number of service faults called already in this match.
Second server.
Trying a change in his service style, Eddy Hartono, and Joo Bong had a ready answer to that.
Service over. 7-12.
Well, I think the Koreans are beginning to find their rhythm because they are slowly inching ahead. Well, they saw the opening then and they made a very delicate drop. The Indonesians were expecting a very powerful smash, but he just couldn't find the weak point.
Well, the umpire has been rather generous, allowing the players to have a breather every now and then, and perhaps it's well appreciated by the players due to the high humidity in the stadium.
Second server.
Very dramatic rally there. But the Koreans still maintain the second service.
Don't worry about the score.
Well, there seems to be a problem with the score machine.
Service over. Left feet.
Well, Susan, if you've mentioned the umpire has been very generous in allowing these breaks, I think the two players who will probably be very, very thankful to the umpire will be the two players who will be playing the mixed doubles later on.
8, second server.
Well, even as the slow motion picture was going on, we saw a wasted service by Eddy Hartono, and its second service was partner Gunawan. Well flicked in
13.
by Eddy Hartono, and perhaps that point is the breakthrough that the Indonesians are looking for. 13-8. And to rapturous approval from the home crowd, Gunawan with yet another change in record. That must be his fourth change now, and he will attempt to wrap up this second game, force it into a rubber. 14-8. And so the second game going the Indonesians' way,
Not exceeding 5 minutes.
15-8. And now we see the winning point in the second game. See the return by Joo Bong. Gunawan. And the return from Moon-soo into the nets. The game wrapped up by the Indonesians 15-8, and we're certainly will be in for more exciting badminton from these two teams in 5 minutes' time. So we're ready now for the third game. The umpire calling things to order, and it will be Eddy Hartono to serve for Indonesia.
Service over. Love all.
Moon-soo serving for South Korea.
One low.
Well, the Koreans drawing the blood.
One low, second server. Two low, second server. Service over. Love two.
Joo Bong obviously disappointed that the shuttle landed wide, and the Indonesians serving now for their first point.
Love 2, second server.
A clenched fist from Moon-soo, and quite relieved.
Service over, 2, love.
Well, the Koreans very quickly regaining the initiative back. Well, the Indonesians were completely out of position there. They weren't in the defensive posture, and the Koreans very simply placed the shuttle in the open court.
Service fault, 3 love, second server.
Moon-soo just checking with the service judge what he has done wrong, and Joo Bong now with the second service.
Service over, love 3.
Good call there by the Indonesians. There's really a lot of communication by both pairings on court today.
Love 3, second server.
The shuttle completely eluding Eddy Hartono.
Service over.
A nicely timed jump at the net by Moon-soo. And it's service back to his side with Joo Bong.
Yes,
4 love.
the Indonesians unable to hold on to the service.
Now the Koreans doing exactly what the Indonesians have done in the second game, racing to a commanding 4-0 lead.
Love, second server.
And Moon-soo's body just scuttling in the way, and he was trying his best to flick it back, unable to do so, but has a chance of clinching another point through his second service.
Love, second server.
Well, unforced error there by the Indonesians.
Absolutely vital that the Indonesians do not let the gap increase. 5-0.
Service over. Love 5.
Well, the shuttle there was, I think it must have clipped the net because the South Korean return was very, very high and it didn't have the depth. Very easily put away by Eddy Gunawan.
Love 5, second server.
Well, the Koreans doing likewise to the Indonesians.
Service over.
Well, the Indonesians certainly must hold on to their service if they're ever hoping to get the first point, because the Koreans are certainly not allowing that to happen.
Wonderful defense by Moon-soo, but the end result wasn't quite favorable, and he was annoyed then.
Well, the action is certainly fast and furious. Players going out to towel, the perspiration off the body.
Service over. Love 5.
Now another good chance for the Indonesians to gain their first point.
What a dramatic rally there.
5. Second service.
The Indonesians had the advantage, but the South Koreans managing to turn that into their favor.
Service over.
A double
5.
flick by
Love.
Eddy Hartono, and still without a point to show for, despite the valiant effort. Joo Bong serving,
6. Love.
and maybe the Indonesians are turning to be rather hasty now in the quest for the first points. Quite evident there on the return by Eddy Hartono.
Love. Second server. Yes. Left.
Moon-soo once again failing in his attempt to catch Hartono off guard.
Well, the Koreans don't seem to be expending a lot of energy in the rallies,
Fajrin.
because as you can see, Eddy Hartono, who just left out of the screen there, he certainly looks a little weary.
Seven. Love. Second server.
All the Indonesians absolutely disappointed with that.
Service over. Love. 7.
So Eddy Hartono to serve, still looking for his first point.
Love. 7. Second server.
Now Gunawan and Eddy Hartono must be wondering between them what they must do to clinch that elusive first point.
Yes, Joo Bong was very quick. He ran almost right up to the court.
Service over.
And still not getting it. Must be quite disheartening
7.
in
Love.
search of that elusive points. Now the crestfallen Gunawan then asking for permission to towel down again.
I think he's just broken a string. The Koreans have managed to defend extremely well. They've managed to pick up the shuttle from the knee level and just lofted it over the net.
7. Love. Second server.
And suddenly we see the Koreans getting stranded. There was one instance being exploited quickly by Hartono.
Love 7. Love 7, second server.
Well, just as the Indonesians are determined to get the first point, so are the Koreans. So they're absolutely determined not to let them have it. And that return from Moon-soo and Gunawan absolutely fooled. Just standing on his line, Gunawan.
Yes, early on, the Koreans have managed to retrieve what I thought would be a very extremely difficult shuttle to recover, and they've managed to turn defense into offense.
7 love, second server. Service over.
And they really are stagnating at the scoreline of 7 love. And for the umpteenth time, the service comes back to Eddy Hartono. And finally, a point for the Indonesians. 1-7. And could this be the breakthrough that the Indonesians are seeking? We shall see. 2-7.
2-7, second server.
Some resolute defending by Hartono, but there's only so much he can do.
Service over.
A lightning smash from the back of the court by Moon-soo. 7-2. And the Korean pair will look for the next points before they change ends.
Second server. Second server. Ends please.
So 8-2, the South Koreans, we see the point then. And it was that mistake by Eddy Hartono as he attempted to cross the shuttle into the opposite end.
Well, I think the Koreans seem to have the psychological edge because although they have been playing extremely hard, they have the points to show for. I don't think the same can be said for the Indonesians because although they've put up a very valiant defense, they've only managed to secure 2 points.
And points are certainly hard to come by for the Indonesians. Perhaps now with the change of ends, that was the side with which they took the second game. Perhaps they'll race the game now.
Service over. 2-8. Second server.
Good judgment by Joo Bong.
Second server.
The partnership combining flawlessly. Hartono sending Joo Bong with the weak return and then Gunawan smashing it down from the center of the court.
Second server.
And perhaps we are witnessing the revival again of the Indonesians. 4-8.
Service over. 8-4.
And in the flash, back Joo Bong sends the shuttle over. Service back to Moon-soo.
An error of judgment there, leaving the court wide open. But the Koreans retain the service.
Service over. 4-8.
The Indonesians making a spirited comeback. No doubt cheered on by a very enthusiastic home crowd.
Players ready. Thank you. Players ready. Second server.
Now this is a very closely contested final.
Eddy Hartono just stood and watched as the shuttle sailed over the baseline.
Yes, and they're just 2 points away.
Service over. 8-6, left lead.
Well, that was really unfortunate that Gunawan had to send the shuttle straight into the net. And there we see again
Thank you.
how that point might have changed the course of this game.
Okay, thank you.
Returned by Moon-soo and really harmless looking, but Gunawan sends it into the net. It's 8-6, Kim Moon-soo.
Second server.
Well, both teams are making a lot of errors. I suspect because, well, they've already been on court for more than an hour and a half, and I think when you're tired and playing in such conditions, it's very difficult not to make errors.
Service over. 6-8.
And the level of support reaching its peak then, as that shuttle from Gunawan safely landed home. 6-8.
Second server.
Well, it appears that the Koreans seem to be stagnating. They have not won a single point for the past 10 minutes.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt that the Indonesians have raised their level of the game. They have many a time reached the finals of important tournaments, only to come second best, and tonight perhaps it's their turn for glory. Well, the Indonesian players and the home supporters sensing that victory is in sight, although it's still at 8-all. And that mistake by Joo Bong certainly won't help.
Well, this is the first time that the Indonesians have actually, I would say, taken the advantage psychologically. Because they're playing extremely well.
8-9.
And they've in fact taken the lead for the first time. But the Koreans have the edge because they hold the service at the moment.
And Eddy Hartono made that look so easy. And he had Joo Bong rooted to the ground.
Yes, that dramatic change of pace really caught the Korean pair flat-footed.
well. They've not been treated to a rally for quite a while now. And that certainly was a good rally, ending in the Indonesians' favour.
Well, the Korean pair must be wondering what they must do in order to retain the initiative.
It's really a complete reversal with the South Koreans playing so well in the first game and then also in the opening stages, or the later stages of the second game, although they lost that. But now it's the Indonesians who are having the upper hand. Gunawan and Eddy Hartono.
Well, an unforced error there enables the Indonesian pair to extend the lead.
Second serve. Thank you.
Well, it's quite amazing, and it speaks volumes of the kind of training that the players have gone through, that after having played for almost 1.5 hours, they're still springing on court around and also agile. Eddy Hartono then, for instance.
Service over. 8-10.
So a chance for the South Koreans to regain the upper hand, which they've held for so long. Moon-soo.
8-10. Second serve.
Acknowledging his mistake, Moon-soo, to his partner. Well, I'm really enjoying every bit of this game now, and I suppose you must be too, Dennis.
Yes, never I've seen the Koreans feel as dispirited as they must surely be feeling right now, because they're doing everything they can in a textbook. They've tried to hit lots of smashes, a lot of drops.
10-8. Second server.
It's really amazing because the Koreans were leading as much as 8-2 earlier in this third match, and now they're down 2 points.
Well, there was a piece of good fortune going Joo Bong's way, and he knows that.
10.
The shuttle dusting the tape and falling over the Indonesian side. 8-10. Moon-soo.
8-10. Second serve.
Well, I think fatigue must certainly be a factor in this match, because they're now out on the court for in excess of an hour and a half.
9-10. Second server.
And the Koreans have now regained, I think, 1 point.
And Joo Bong just missing the shuttle completely.
10-9.
It's 10-9 with the Indonesians.
Well, this
regaining
match,
the service.
yes, this match is a certain treat, because never have I seen a doubles match as close as the one we're watching right now.
9.
And every point that the Indonesians are winning saluted with a clenched fist. Eddy Hartono and Joo Bong wasn't too happy with something there as he went over to the service judge.
Second serve.
Another lucky break for the Koreans as the shuttle just clipped the top of the net. But they're still 2 points down. And it's an uphill battle to match the Indonesians.
10-11.
Well, with the stakes so high and so little separating the two teams, it certainly will be the team that makes the least mistakes that will win this match.
11-all.
And 2 mistakes by Gunawan have enabled the Koreans to draw level at 11 points apiece.
Well, at this stage, I wouldn't be able to say who can win because I don't think anyone would be willing to place a wager.
Well, it will certainly take a brave man to do that. 11 all is the score.
12-11.
And Gunawan looks the unsteadier of the two players now, as yet another point goes the Koreans' way. Joo Bong certainly must be good to have the edge again.
12-11. Second serve.
A valiant effort by Moon-soo to retrieve the shuttle, but he still has the second service with a 1 point lead, 12-11.
Well, the Koreans seem to be in the driver's seat because at one stage they looked completely dejected, and now they're just 2 points away from winning this doubles.
And Gunawan making amends for his numerous mistakes in the past minute or so. 11-13. And it's still anybody's game.
Thank you. Players ready? Thank you.
And there we see a well-placed return by Gunawan out of the reach of Joo Bong. 11-13. Here's Gunawan to serve. And Eddy Hartono very confidently letting the shuttle drop behind him. He has measured his paces absolutely right. So 1 point away from extending this rubber game. And Eddy Hartono tried to play through his legs again for the second time. But that smash was too powerful from Joo Bong. But it's still 12-13. Eddy Hartono to serve. Mistake from Joo Bong. And the scores are level at 13 all. And the Koreans are having a hard time in deciding how many points to set to.
Straight through, 13.
And they have elected to play it straight.
No setting. 13 all, second serve.
Well, whether that will prove to be a right decision or not, we shall uncover in just a couple of minutes. The second server now for Eddy Hartono, 13 all.
Yes, I think the Koreans made the right decision there because they knew that if they could break Eddy Hartono's service, they would have gotten 2 service breaks.
And once again, it was Gunawan who had to place the shuttle into the net. Tension is really high.
Yes, the Koreans clenching their fists there.
And I think their decision will pay off now. Moon-soo to serve.
Yes, and they jump for joy as the Indonesians hit the shuttle out. And my word, what is certainly a very close doubles match.
So the final score then, Eddy Hartono and Gunawan going down to Joo Bong and Moon-soo, 9-15, 15-8, 13-15.